And I'm Brenda Nijedlo. My background is in music. I have a master's in music history from Northwestern, and my passion is actually accompanying and working with young students, whether it be vocal or piano, and teaching them and guiding them. That is just a passion of mine. So I became accredited judge for the state of Wisconsin, also the Wisconsin Music Teachers Association, where I would go on weekends and judge students for their voice and singing.
So as a science teacher, I liked what I was doing, and in between that time of where I was still a liaison officer, I had really started to fall in love with astronomy and doing more and more in what's called, amateur visual astronomy. And we decided to make a change in our lives just a little while ago. So,
and it was a change. We have some very good friends who, Jacqueline and Scott Carney, who were full-time RVers. And when they said they were going full-time, I thought they were crazy. Like, this is never going to work. But it does. And it did for them. So Jacqueline is a graphic designer at a business called Club Scrap, where I used to work. And my boss and I rode out to their rig. And I remember sitting there looking up going, this is really intriguing. And I went inside and I looked around and said, this is really intriguing. And that, I think, was the thing that planted the seed for me.
I would say fast forward then to we were in a position where we knew we could do some different things with our life. We decided, we pretty much thought we were going to move to the community that I was a high school teacher at, short ways away from where we were, shorten up the drive time.
Buy a home.
And finish, about 5 more years of teaching there, 5 or 6 years of teaching there, and enjoy being part of that community. And Brenda was going to leave her position and just come and live and really make herself more immersed in that city. And we watched these lecture series called The Great Courses, and we were watching one specific one on the geology of the national parks. And we're sitting there watching these, and it's just becoming more, and I didn't know what was going on with her, but as this, buying this house, and we had no problem financially doing it, but it was more about I don't know if this is what I want to do. And we just had a friend pass away.
The commitment and the money and the commitment.
And all these places that we had never seen, and we keep saying, wait till retirement. And then with someone that had passed away, we're like, I want to go see these before I, can't go see these. And we looked at each other and I said, should we do this? And she knows what that means. That's a reference back to when we first, that was my proposal to her when we got married, was, should we do this? So she knew there was a different meaning to it of should we do this? We looked at each other and said, let's do this. And decided to get an RV. So the realization that we were going to go full-time RVing, and my desire to take my astronomy equipment with me, and when I had just picked up a brand new 20-inch Obsession, and it's large, it's very large, and the thought was, well, I'll put it in the back of the vehicle and keep it back there, but then we get way too hot and it'd be damaging to this very expensive piece of equipment. So I started looking at what could we do to take it with, and the reality of what I found was it just wasn't going to work. We were not going to be able to take it with unless we had something that could be climate controlled. In other words, air conditioning. I started talking with people about, well, what would it take to, put batteries together or something together to do that. Ultimately, after a lot of laughter, I did find a company that did the right size for the right job, and found out it would take it quite a bit. And that's this, which is Mobile Solar is the company. And
they're out of Atascadero, California.
And this particular model is called the MS325. So it's got basically 12 house solar panels on it that are house size, and then also it's a 17-foot trailer, and it's got 3,000 pounds of industrial batteries in it right above the axles. to be able to, what the company does usually is either AT&T or Verizon or a coal company, or someone that needs off-grid reliable energy right there and needs it to really be doing a good amount of work. Okay, so once we realized that, okay, to really keep them climate controlled, it would take something of this magnitude. Then we realized, well, we're at a point where now we can put, a number of different scopes that we have in there, take it out on the road, and it could serve itself separately, fully, where it's got air conditioning, it's got the power to all day long. If you put a composting toilet in it, because sometimes you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can utilize that then, and it's a fully self-contained area for presentation. So let's say we show up at a national park or a state park, or for that matter, a middle school or a high school or a UU church or a business that wants to do something interesting for their employees. We can put on presentations and it'll house all of our gear and serve as the center spot to kind of a focal point of attraction to say, come on in and we'll do either a daytime or an evening presentation. And once we realized this, we thought we can go across North America, little community by community, seeing North America, putting on presentations and avoiding really having to stay at RV parks and scheduling. You can create what they want to do. You have daytime, so if you want to look at the sun, we have 3 different telescopes that we would more than likely use. One of them specifically for looking at the sunspots on the sun, really nice one. And another one then for looking at more of the solar flares. It's an H-alpha filter on it, so it's a really good one for looking at the flares and the prominences and seeing the stuff that's coming off of the edges, and it's beautiful. Another one just like that we would then use on a computer with a camera that shows on a very large public monitor, because a lot of people just cannot get their eye to come up and view those things. So having that, then we can really do a nice presentation for daytime and talk about the sun and some of the, you can actually see some of the different planets during the day with the right equipment. So doing that, and that could be, there's a lot of people just who haven't seen the differences between the flares and the prominences and the sunspots, and then not only seeing them, but understanding what goes with that. And that's more about what this is, showing it to them, but and going deeper and explaining it to them.
It usually is awe, or I had no idea. I mean, I remember for me personally, the first time I looked at Saturn through one of our older telescopes, I cried. I mean, as a little girl, these are the things you look up, and I did a report on Saturn. It was my favorite planet. But normally, people have really no idea. They look up and they see stars and they might know a planet, but other than that, they have no idea about distance and what these things, what is a star? People aren't even sure about that, and it's okay not to know. We don't know everything, which is good, but we want to teach people these things. I think most of all I see, it's really cool. I love this life.